All right, guys, welcome back to another episode at the channel. I know this is a fast follow, but let me bring you up to speed with where we're at. I'm admittedly getting very old. There's a neighbor kid that drives up and down the street, and we don't have a busy street, but I will say that we do have the naughty school like a block or two away from us. So there is some traffic with parents like picking up the kids, dropping off the kids to the school and stuff. So, but this kid, he just got a Honda Civic and it's a manual gearbox, and he loves to let everyone know that he runs a manual gearbox with an absolute silencer system on the thing. And the thing sounds awful. For a K24, this thing sounds absolutely atrocious. Quite honestly, I should offer to build him a real system so I don't have to hear this anymore. But yeah, I'm admittedly getting really old, and I was talking about it with my partner. And she's from England, and she's like, the English like things very polished and very like buttoned up and proper. And she's like, aren't you the same? I mean, the disco sounds like a chopping Chevelle, like a 68 Chevelle or something. And it's true that it did sound pretty loud. And the reason why is because I basically made that system completely off of the Lost Cause Ranch. And when I went back and watched videos, I realized they actually had the stocked rear resonator still in their system. So theirs probably did sound great. But yeah, what I wanted to do was I needed to quiet this down quite a bit, and I got a 12-inch resonator and some stainless tube and basically welded an axle. All right, guys, here's what's up. I'm getting, when I'm scanning the computer, I'm getting some O2 errors in the system. And to be honest with you, I didn't really even pin that one out. I just assumed that worked back to the computer. So I need to go under there and look at it and try to figure out what's going on. I also think that I need to tighten down the exhaust. I think it may have, had gone through a couple of heat cycles, and I found a random bolt in the driveway. So I think that came from the exhaust system. So let me show you what we got here. I've got this massive pile of bends on Amazon. So yeah, that'll be enough to finish it. And then I got this little 12-inch muffler and the bolt, where it bolts to the other piece. So, okay, here's what's crazy, right? So when I used to make stainless exhaust systems for vintage motorcycles, I would buy my stuff from Burn Stainless. And most of my exhausts were 1.5 inches in diameter, and I think I paid like $50 a bend for each one, right? And it would take like, I don't remember how many bends. It always varied. So like then it came along this place called mandrel-bends.com. I think it's Columbia River Manufacturing or something, and their bends were like half the price of Burn Stainless. So I think they were like 25 a bend or something, but all of those places have gotten really expensive now. So I got all of this on Amazon for $75. That's why it's way more than I needed, but it was cheaper than buying 2 of those like J style bends, which is what I would have needed. So yeah, this is insane, $75. And I know everyone on the internet's gonna be like, yo, that stuff comes from China, and it has far less nickel in it than any other stainless steel and than American stuff, and that exhaust is gonna fall off and you're gonna die or kill someone. I know that's what the internet says, but I'm still just astounded that these bends were as cheap as they are, and they're all wrapped up, they come in good condition, no nicks or anything. So yeah, let me show you what we're gonna start with. Yeah, so obviously, well, this is basically what it's gonna do, right? It's gonna, I'm gonna obviously take off the stock, the one that's on there now, and that's gonna slide inward quite a bit more, and I'm gonna also raise it up slightly. But yeah, that's what it's gonna look like. So it's just gonna have the 90 out here. I might even tilt it down a little bit. Last time, I think some guys commented that if I'm ever fording a river, it'll suck water in or something. But so yeah, so I'm gonna take this off and basically duplicate this. This one will come up quite a bit. It'll be less direct. I don't know. We'll figure this out. Okay, here's what the one that came off looks like, and I can't remember if I filmed this or not yet, but I kind of remember I had some problems with this joint. Like the mild wouldn't weld to the stainless very easily at all. It's got all buggered up, and I think I had to put like a stainless, I don't know. But here's why that's important. I ordered this, a two bolt system, and it's a 3-bolt system that's on there. So I'm gonna have to, in that box of goodies there might be another 3, but I don't know. But what I might have to do is cut this off and reuse this one. But yeah, so basically I'm gonna be duplicating this out of stainless, and then of course the muffler goes right in here. So let's go look at that real quick. So here's kind of where it naturally wants to sit, but I think I want it to go a little higher, and what's going to happen is over here, that 90, it might bang into that when it gets raised up. So yeah, basically I'm going to raise it an inch so that the 90 can come out and kind of, yeah, it'll come out here and then kind of kick down, I think. I didn't even film that right. So yeah, it's going to come out here and then kind of kick down in this area out here. So yeah, here's the problem with that. So let's see if I can move this one-handed. That hanger right there is in the way. It kind of needs to move up, honestly, and I don't really want to weld. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to think, because I don't really want to weld on the that close to the fuel tank. Okay, that was nerve-wracking. Yeah, so I think this is pretty much where it's gonna sit here, but let me take you back in the garage and basically show you what I'm working on. The legs on these, this new 90 are too long, we know that. But over here is where I welded on this bend like a couple years ago. So I'm gonna chop this off just to make sure that that muffler over here is lined up right. Okay, so now that this is where it needs to be, obviously that's not going to turn down like that. That needs chopping, and this is going to, again, exit right here. But this is going to pull down slightly so that it's more parallel. I mean, it says that it's parallel with the ground right now, but I don't believe that. So we're gonna level that out, and then we're gonna start from here and come back, I think. We're gonna use the original as sort of the template. Right, so I just fitted up the original piece. You can see it's really tight here, so this is gonna actually come down like probably 1/4 of an inch. But what's nice is I think I'm gonna come off this body tab right into here, since this is rubber mounted. Come off that body tab right here, and then this will come out exactly where it needs to go. So I'm actually very pleased with it. Okay, let me show you what I did here. I kind of had to guess, right? So I basically put the apex of this bend on the apex of this bend, which luckily was a 45. And I can, oh yeah, no, I'm actually okay. So you have to kind of speculate, right? So you can mark it down here, but then you gotta kind of figure out what you're doing up here. So I'm gonna cut this one at this angle, and that will weld to this, and then this one up here goes immediately into a 90. So because of the bend decreases right in here, what I'll probably do is I'll probably cut this part off a little bit and then splice in to this one here. But yeah, all these look to be like fairly standard. So yeah, I'm gonna try to duplicate this as best I can, and then tie it into, and then I'm gonna tie it into the muffler that's there now. Okay, let's take you over real quick and show you where we're at. So it's basically just a really tight 90 that needs to tie this together. All the rest of it is all done. That probably could have been a little shorter, but whatever. All right, so let's get that, let's get this 90 done. Okay, so the whole thing is all tacked in. I'm gonna have to clearance this frame rail a bit, not a huge deal, but anyways, it's about an inch short, right? So this is gonna be blasting exhaust out. I don't want it to catch on this bumper. So I could, you know, weld this piece in and then chop it down, you know, so it's flush. Or I still have a bit of this bend left, so I could, you know, kind of come out with it and then cut this off. Thing is, I don't really like that hot rod, you know, where they have that like teardrop thing. So what I'll probably do is I'll do both of these. I'll mock up both of these and tack it in, see which, I mean, I'll look at which one I like and then tack it in and probably call it a day. So this is the actual bend portion. So I think I actually really like the way that looks. It kind of comes out a bit, turns down, and yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna go with. So I'm gonna clean this up and then take all this off, tack this on, and then again, call it a day. All right, so this is the end of day one. Honestly, an obscene amount of bends. I think I have the welding machine set up correctly, and here's what the game plan is. I got to get all the oxygen and stuff out of the inside of the system. So the first order of business is I capped off both the ends, and I ran my purge line through the back. Now, I think I mentioned this yesterday, I don't have a ton of gas. I don't even know if this is going to be possible. It's going to take a lot just to fill up the system. And then I still have like lots of welds. So we'll see how that goes. But the first step really is to wipe everything down with acetone. Might wire brush some things a bit, but hopefully it goes pretty smooth. I got the tungsten all sharpened up correctly. Got a bit of wire out, so yeah, let's get to it. I took a quick break. I got a bit of this thing done, and I'm letting everything kind of cool down for a minute because it does get hot on your hand. The torch itself gets hot. I don't have a water-cooled torch. But the big reason why, obviously you can see the garage doors open. It gets, if you're doing a welding project like this is just my suggestion. The entire internet may disagree, but if you're doing a big welding project like this, you got to keep your garage door open because that argon will sit down low and like slowly come up. And I'm the first to say I love the smell of argon. I love nothing more than the smell of argon in stainless welding. The only thing better than that is maybe like titanium welding with a bunch of argon. But it will asphyxiate you as the floor starts to fill up with argon and come up. So like in that instance, I was starting to feel a little bit lightheaded. I think I breathed a lot more argon than I should have. And yeah, not the I ran out of gas, so I think I don't want to take the disco because I have to. Where I live in Frisco, it just doesn't have a lot of industry around it, so I'm gonna have to drive either 30 minutes to McKinney or 45 minutes to Denton to get more gas. And I think I've been getting all my gas at Denton. Those guys are really cool up there. But I don't want to take the disco because the exhaust is all open, and frankly I don't trust it to go on that long of a distance yet, so I guess I'm gonna have to load up the Defender and go and get some more gas. So that's what's gonna happen. Alright, so I said fuck it and just decided to make that drive to Denton. Drank the gas. I want this job wrapped up, and so I have to do every single screws over along the way. But this is a nice drive actually. Check this out. Sick as fuck, honestly. If you're outside of Dallas, Allied Welding Supply in Denton is like the most legit welding supply place in our area. It's a pain in the ass to get to, but everyone here is really solid. All right, so back from the welding gas place, and I think what I'm gonna do is there's a small like 5mm place here that I need to do. I need to clean this and brush it too, and then I'll probably do this. I'm just going around and filling up everything. So it's purging now, but yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay, so the welds aren't looking like absolutely terrible. So this one needs a lot of work, this one needs a lot of work, and this one on the back side needs a lot of work, and then I still have to weld on that tip. So I'm gonna let this cool down a little bit and then see how it's gonna go. Okay, so it's probably hard to tell on video. This did work significantly well, quite a bit better than I was expecting. The challenge I'm having is a lot of the sound is coming from the front section, right? So the actual engine and the headers itself. So what I'm gonna need to do now is I'm gonna have to, I think I'm missing a bolt on that header. The headers, yeah, they just need to be tightened in a lot more and then re-clamped down, but like already it sounds a lot better. There's a lot of cabin noise because I need to put that grommet back in, but I think I'm gonna run to the store, get some food real quick, and yeah, see how it goes. Actually, before I do that, let me show you, it's kind of cool. So like from underneath, you can see that big stainless bend, and you can definitely tell it's all stainless from the headers back. I think before I run to the store, I guess I should make that clamp so I can actually drive. So what I think I'm gonna do, I mentioned this previously, so this body panel piece right here, I just need a strip that comes across and holds this directly to there, and I'll just weld that on, and that'll be the support. So it'll basically be flat, and then it'll have like a kind of a curved section. And I have some, let me show you. Okay, so this piece right here is for a shelf that was supposed to come on this little cart that holds the mixer and the air fryer and this crap. So, all right guys, so this is how it turned out. It obviously got a little dark, and I apologize. So you might have to use a bit of your imagination, but yeah, that's all in there. So I agree that loop's a little low. Might want to think about raising that up, and you can see that back bracket that goes to the body panel mount. It's that squarish looking thing right there. So yeah, all in all, it's pretty sturdy. So I'm happy with it. We're gonna call that a day. All right guys, so there you have it. It looks so much better. If you notice from that video, it's got, I tried really hard to remember to flip it so that the seam side was on the inside of the car, but in true Chris fashion, I went ahead and welded the whole thing up and realized afterwards the seam side was perfectly parallel with the ground. So so that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I can tell you it sounds so much better. I don't have the grommet in where the wiring harness comes into the cabin. I still need to get that grommet in there to kind of seal that off and put the interior panels on. That's where a lot of the interior noise is coming from. But it is significantly quieter. The other thing is like that LS motor is just a lot louder, quite honestly, than the stock disco motor. So yeah, it's going to sound quite a bit different. And then lastly, where the exhaust meets the actual headers, it's not 100% sealed up. So I need to get some bolts, quite honestly, and really crank those down so that I have a nice good seam or a nice good seal on that. So yeah, I mean, otherwise, I mean, I think it sounds pretty great. It's a lot more civilized than it was. It's still loud, and but it's not like overly offensive. And depending on where you're at in the car, it kind of honestly, it sounds like it should. It sounds like anyone building this or any factory building this, they would kind of make it sound like this. They would probably try to quiet it down in the cabin itself, but like from the outside, it sounds like it should. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. The next sort of steps are just, there's some wiring stuff I need to figure out to get some of the MIL lights to the MIL codes to turn off. Namely, the map still keeps coming on and off. I just checked and still getting a TPS, which I have a brand new TPS from GM, so I'll get that in. I think a lot of it has to do with the wiring in the actual connections itself, because the really big ones are the O2 sensors. Well, there's three big ones, right? I'm getting O2 sensors issues on both of them, even though the O2 sensors are plugged in. So that tells me that either something's wrong with the wiring or something's wrong with the plug. I'm still getting a map issue. I'm not quite sure what's up with that. I may have a vacuum leak. I don't even know. Does the intake vacuum leak cause a map issue? I mean, it kind of seems like it would, but if anyone knows, please comment below and help me, because I feel like I'm chasing my tail and I keep hitting up the Facebook group, and I'm sure they're getting tired of answering questions about that kind of thing. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. I mean, for all intents and purposes, the swap is pretty much wrapped up. There's a couple gremlins I need to sort out to get the thing inspected, but otherwise it's done. I think the next episode will really be a quick one. Just sort of me going over what I think of the kit and everything that went in the swap, what I did right, what I would do better next time, and outright what I would do completely differently. So may film that one later, but my daughter's coming in from university. The holidays are upon us, and I'll probably film a quick one and then launch into the holidays and then come back, and hopefully this old girl will be up and running great. But thanks a lot for sticking around. Please give me a like. Please, anything you could do to help the algorithm get my videos out there, because I'm not even convinced that a lot of people are watching them, and I could use the viewership because I love making this content, but it's not an exercise in vanity. I'm actually making this to be helpful or useful or entertaining or some way to other folks out there. So thanks a lot for the view. Thanks a lot for making it this far, man. We'll see you next time.